If I could have everybody's attention for a little bit, please. Can I get y'all's attention, please? Way too low. Yeah. All right, we have a short program that we'd like to have in honor of Carley. And to open it up, our priest, our Father Mark McNary from St. Peter's, is going to open us in prayer. Thank you.
I am absolutely astounded at the love that I see in the room today for Carley and for the Rutledge family. I just learned that there are some who flew from London to be here with the family, to love on Carley, to remember her, and to love all of you. Even some from Portland, Oregon, and so on. People have come from all over the place, and I thank you for that love and being here for the family. Rutledge family, I hope you're feeling that hug. Good, I knew it. I've been asked to lead us in prayer as we begin our celebration of Carley's life. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, as we gather to remember the life of your handmaiden Carley, we ask you to aid us by grace, both to express our love for her and share that love with one another, and to set our hearts upon you, that we may receive comfort in time of need, that we may pray as the psalmist prayed, "Why are you so downcast, O my soul, and why are you so disquieted within me? Put your hope in God, for I shall yet praise him, the help of my countenance and my God." Merciful Father and Lord of all life, we praise you that we are made in your image and reflect your truth and light. We thank you for the life of your handmaiden Carley, for the love she received from you and showed among us. Above all, we rejoice at your gracious promise to all your servants living and departed, that we shall rise again at the coming of Christ. And we ask that in due time we may share with our sister that clearer vision, when we shall see your face in the same Christ our Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
All right, first, if I can keep my composure, well, the mic's just going to stay low. I really appreciate everybody being here. It means the world to Laura and me and the whole family to have this level of support, to have you all here, and to just know how many hearts Carley has touched and how many people that love Carley. It really means the world to us. Obviously, this is a tough day. We have a hole in our family that cannot be filled. But we will get through it. We will be stronger. Our family is stronger now than it was. Our family has been blessed with tremendous support. And there are two things that we count on so much to help us get through this. One is the trust and the peace that Carley is safe. Carley is at peace. Carley's no longer suffering. Carley's no longer sick. And for the grace of Jesus Christ that made that possible. Second, we are so grateful and blessed for all of you who are here to love on us. I've never hugged so many people in my life, and it just means the world to me. We are standing because you all are keeping us from falling down, and we appreciate that so much. There are so many things that I could say about Carley. I could keep you all here all day, but I won't burden you with that. But I do have things that I wanted to focus on and to say, just a few things, because really I'm in a unique position. As a parent, it is my job to teach, to raise, to even inspire, but I have been truly blessed to be truly inspired by my own child, and I've learned so much. And those are some of the things I wanted to share with you, about what I learned from my own child, and how Carley made me a better person. I'm not alone in this. We've heard from many of you. We've heard so many kind words. So many people say what a positive impact Carley's had on them. People who say literally Carley changed their lives because they were able to spend time with her. And that is a true joy, obviously, to hear those things. And some of the things, we've had so many kind notes from y'all and others, and they talk about some great phrases. One referred to her as a beautiful firecracker, and I love that phrase. Another from one of her coworkers referred to her as her relentless positivity. I will treasure that phrase because that is so Carley. And so many of you, the most common phrase was the spark of life, spark of joy, spark of this, spark of that, which is a great phrase and I love it, but it sells her short. It was not a spark, it was a blowtorch. And for me, as I have thought about so much, and I've watched so many of these pictures, these beautiful pictures, and just thinking of Carley and her impact on me and so many other people. She inspired so many people, not because she invented the latest great thing and made all this money or did all this new stuff. She inspired us simply by living her life in the love and the joy that God intended for every one of us. That's really all she did. She loved, she had joy, she loved us. She made the best of everything. And there's nothing stopping any of us from living like Carley. It was her attitude that we admired. It was her attitude that inspired us. One of the things that Carley and I focused on throughout her treatment is we'd always say, or I'd remind her and remind myself, don't focus on where we are. Don't focus on how we got here. We can't change that. And too many times for Carley, it would just be depressing anyway. Our focus was on where we're going. Focus was moving forward, setting a new goal, accomplishing a new goal. And Carley lived that so wonderfully. Just so many times I remember I'd see a video, I'd see a photo, and she's literally learning to walk again. She's learning to use her hand that's been crippled, and she's smiling and she's laughing because she could actually pick up the little piece and put it in the right slot, or she could walk on her walker from one end of the hall to the other. I mean, just this young, beautiful child getting joy out of accomplishing those things. And I will learn from her to try to focus on where I'm going and not how we got here. And I also want to say this was a conscious choice of hers. I mean, it's her nature. She does have relentless positivity, but this was a conscious choice. After her first diagnosis back shortly before her 16th birthday, this poor child was told that she had less than a 10% chance of getting out of her teens. And she told me at some point in there, she didn't know whether she had 1 year or 50, but she was going to make the best of it. And she did. She lived that. I can't even tell you how many times she lived that. Recently in the hospital, I read an email to her from a friend of mine who had just was so impressed by her courage and strength. And I read it to her, and she kind of looked a little confused. Well, thank you. That's very nice. But what choice do I have? And I just smiled. I kissed her, I hugged her, and said, I'm so proud of you. I love you. You're amazing. And I wasn't about to tell her all the choices that I thought of. I thought you could have just sunk into despair. You could have wallowed in depression. You could have abused alcohol, used drugs to ease the pain. You could have been bitter. You could have been angry. You could have been so many things. And you were nothing but joy. You were nothing but love in the face of all this. I mean, those options just never entered her mind. Her relentless positivity pushed all that out. And that is something that I strive to learn from my own daughter. Another lesson I learned from her was frankly, kind of ironically, from her tattoos. She had a few. Her mother and I did not like tattoos. And we made her promise when she went off to college that she would not get one. And one of the few stupid things Carley did was actually use her mother's credit card to get her first tattoo. So we found out about it from the credit card statement, not from Carley. So this started in on a rather lively debate, I'll put it that way. And somewhere along the line, after getting all the arguing out, I finally asked her, well, what's the tattoo of? And she said, well, this was 5 years after diagnosis, I put the Roman numerals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on my spine to signify I have survived 5 years. They told me I wouldn't, and I did. So, as you can imagine, my knees crumpled, my gut went out. I had no resistance to tattoos anymore. And so she subsequently added 6 through 10. I'm not so proud of that, but I'm very proud that she made 10 and a little more. And for those of you who picked up the bookmarks, you'll even know there's a quote on there that was another tattoo from the Lord of the Rings that she had tattooed. There is good in this world and it is worth fighting for. My lesson I've learned from Carley is the message is far more important than the medium. And Carley had a very wonderful, wonderful message. Carley loved traveling, and one of the things I love that I've learned from Carley on this is she didn't just travel to see things, which is my inclination. I want to travel to see pretty things. She traveled to experience things and to do things, and things I wouldn't do. She among many trips, one of the ones that were most nerve-wracking for Laura and me was when she went to South Africa and spent 3 years there. And we would go see the pretty sights there. Carley got in shark cages. And we have video of great white sharks hitting the cage she was in. That's Carley. And while there, she also did her first bungee jump from the world's highest commercial bungee jump. No use warming up, just go for the top. That's Carley. And one of my most treasured memories with Carley is we were able to spend time climbing the Schwarzenstein Peak in Austria. It was a tremendous trip set up by Sylvia Bussey, and we went with the Donahues. Laura was able to go but couldn't climb because her knee wasn't up to it. But this isn't just going to see a pretty mountain. This is spending 2 days on crampons and glacier crossings to get to the peak from Austria into Italy and back. Just a phenomenal experience. You'll see pictures with David and his son Wyatt. And as you'll hear more, there's more why that trip is so special. I also learned a lot with Carley from our political discussions. We had quite a few. We did not see eye to eye on politics at all, but we really enjoyed trying to convince each other that the other was wrong. Neither of us were successful. But one of our favorite projects in that regard, and I encourage y'all to look it up if you're not familiar with it, but at Carley's suggestion, she picked a book she wanted us to read, and we wrote an article, long article. You can find it on her website that's still up, carleyrutledge.com, or Cool Cactus Media. Either one will get you there. It's her idea to read a book, and the article of it is a Republican boomer and a liberal millennial read a book. And it just meant the world to me to do that. We didn't agree on any point in the entire article, and it just didn't matter. Her passion, she's a great writer, and just learning where her passion, what drives her, it meant the world to me, even though I didn't convince her of a single thing. There are so many things that I will miss about Carley. I will miss those beautiful eyes and that smile that would light up a room. You've seen it. You'll see it in the pictures. Her laugh that would just light up your soul. I will miss those things so much. And if you measure the value of something by how much it hurts to lose it, Carley was simply beyond priceless. Thank you.
I can't believe I have to follow that. Due to her recent engagement, I thought being apart from my sister on a holiday for the first time was going to be the hardest part of Thanksgiving. But Thanksgiving Eve 2021 became for me and a lot of people here the worst night of our lives. I truly never believed I could lose Carley until it was happening. I have cried uncontrollably. I have felt my heart physically throb and ache. But until a reality I had actively and stubbornly rejected for so long became impossibly real, I had never wept and grieved with my entire body. The shock and unbelief of her death is both a testament to how much we all never wanted to accept this loss, and also to the fact that she was the strongest and bravest person I will ever know. Carley and I met almost 20 years ago, but our friendship really formed the summer before 6th grade at Kids Who Care Theater Camp. Bolstered with the new confidence I found there, proudly adorning my new apprentice t-shirt, I introduced myself to this new girl. The room was instructed to ask your new camper specific get-to-know-you questions, and we quickly found out just how much we had in common. I would later make the big move and ask her to hang out at the Colonial Country Club pool. And to my dread, when we got there, the place was completely empty, and little 12-year-old Monica was like, this is going to be so awkward. But we ended up hanging out in the shallow end of the pool for hours and never ran out of things to talk about, the exact same way we were up until the end. We recently joked about how many methods of communication we used on a daily basis. So after this successful play date, we became unhealthily inseparable. I still can remember vividly us misbehaving during rehearsal and talking when we'd been asked to stop 100 times. And my sister came up to me and said, Monica, you really got to cool it. And I remember saying back, I know, I'm sorry. I'm just really excited to have a best friend. I do believe in the saying that it's always darkest before the dawn, but for us, it was often the opposite. It was more, it's always brightest before the lights go out. In seasons of being on the outs with each other, we one time tried to take an active friendship break because we were too close. God always relentlessly pointed us back to each other so that we were always the closest before another tragedy would occur. Even counting the times we literally had no other friends and would call each other as soon as we got home from school, we were the closest we've ever been this year. And that's what makes this all the more devastating, but beautiful still. God wanted us to live our friendship to the absolute fullest, and we did. And that's why it not only feels incomprehensibly heavy, but simply unnatural to be without her. If you knew us at all, you knew how much we love TV. Well, now I feel like I've been dropped in the middle of one. This isn't my life, and I'm at the point in the story where upon each rewatch, you want to skip ahead because you don't feel like you can handle living through that part again. You know, I'm kind of mad at her. I know we love so many of the same things, but I never truly knew how intrinsically linked she was with everything I loved until she was gone. I will think of her every day regardless, but she will come into the sharpest focus when I find yet another aspect of Harry Potter I love and want to tell her about. When I can finally bring myself to watch Friday Night Lights again. When I want to confess something weird and know she's the only one that won't judge it and probably feels the same way. Every time my family quotes It's a Wonderful Life. Every time Emily and Lorelai Gilmore make me cry. Every time I hear the Shins or Death Cab for Cutie. She pushed me and inspired me so much in life, and I'm determined that her spirit pushes me even more in death. I've been making a Carley list, and I'll share just a few. Read her favorite books, Lord of the Rings, all of them. It's going to take a while, but I will. The Time Traveler's Wife, Into the Wild. Walk a 10K. I think I could do that. Speaking of tattoos, I might need to get one. Sorry, Mom. Something small, something for her. Okay. That's a good tip. I don't think I'll scuba dive, but maybe I'll go snorkeling again or something. Yeah, we're working on it. What a year we've had, friends. Around February, I told someone, I hope Carley and Wyatt end up together. I had no idea what that meant then. I read somewhere recently that grief is love with nowhere to go. We'll let it stay with us and bring with it what it's meant to, and let it spread further and deeper than before to the people in our lives. I know I should quote the Bible to close this out, but instead I'm going to share a few quotes from Albus, Percival, Wulfric, Brian, Dumbledore. Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times, if one only remembers to turn on the light. You think the dead we loved truly ever leave us. You think we don't recall them more clearly in times of great trouble. And finally, to the well-organized mind, death is but the next great adventure. Well, I can't wait to join you in the greatest adventure one day. and I'll try my best to keep up. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name's Jenny,
I'm Kelsey.
and we decided to speak together because there was no way we could get through this by ourselves up on the stage. Amidst so much grief, we are all constantly reminded of the manner in which Carley lived her life, and we have always been and will continue to be inspired by her, clearly. Carley's gaggle of friends have done our best to start compiling a list of what we're calling the Carleyisms. And these are things that we want to remember in all of the times throughout our lives where we ask, what would Carley do? It's a short list. I'm sure it will continue to grow as we go through our lives. And we welcome all of you after this to please share with us your Carleyisms and share them with everyone that you can. So the Carleyisms begin with, memories are better told with a little Carley embellishment.
And Juno is a perfect angel and has never done anything wrong. Just don't ask the chickens.
From the highest peaks to the lowest depths of the ocean, explore it all and conserve it all.
There is nothing more important than family, no matter how many times you trap Grant in a box.
Find joy in the little things, warm, clean sheets, hot morning coffee, a sitcom in snowfall, or new boots goofing.
If you're gonna have an opinion, you better be educated about it.
If your name is on it, you'll give it 110%.
Leftovers are better eaten in bed.
Fear doesn't make you weak, it makes you brave.
Love yourself, you are enough. All you have to do is be unapologetically you.
Live like Julia Childs, with extra butter and a fake English accent.
You can always find love mingled with grief.
And lastly, almost lastly, life is about finding joy in every breath you take, regardless of your circumstances.
Carleyisms will continue to present themselves to each and every one of us. But for today, we leave you with Carley's favorite words by J.R.R. Tolkien. We all heard them, and we'll continue to hear them and think of Carley. There's some good in the world, and it's worth fighting for.
Thank you, everybody.
My name is Danny Morello. I had the honor and pleasure of leading the team that Carley worked on out in Denver at Strive Prep, a charter school network, where she had a huge lasting impact. I'll continue a bit.
Yeah.
If you want to introduce yourself.
The first thing I think about when I think about Carley is how easy these words would come to her if she had to write this or say these words to all of you, that she was just so skilled and easy and knew exactly the right thing to say at exactly the right time. And that's a real skill that most of us don't always have. I know she's even looking down at me and laughing because we both had the same fear of public speaking, but with Carley, you would never know it. She would just be able to get up and say things with such a presence that you would never know.
I spent 4 years before Carley came to the team working on videos with Julia, who was her direct manager, and working with outside vendors who tried to capture the spirit of our schools, and nobody was ever able to capture the joy, the personality, the spirit of each and every one of our 10 schools in the way that Carley was able to capture it on film. She had a real gift for storytelling, a real gift for seeing the best in people and in things, and in bringing that to life through words and on the screen. She loved her work. She loved this team. We loved her dearly. Even a week before her passing, she was texting us, trying to continue to work, and we had to keep telling her to stop, that things would go on, that we had it, that her films were in good hands. But that was Carley. She was so passionate about what she did. We were so lucky and so blessed to be in the presence of her greatness, her relentless positivity, her fighter spirit, and we miss her all so much.
Yeah, and as in life, Carley was a true leader in her work and her creativity, and her legacy is always going to be remembered. We worked with a team of people. These are just a few of us here today, but we were more than just colleagues. We were actual, genuine friends. And someone at work recently said, having someone you work with them being a colleague is a given, right? But having a friend in them is a gift. And Carley was truly a gift for us. And I just think about all the things that we got to share. I had the pleasure of sitting next to her. Our desks were right next to each other. So for, over a year before COVID hit, I remember her laugh, and we would just talk, and we would talk about boys, and we would talk about books, and we would just talk about anything. And just her liveliness and everything that she brought, she was just a great friend and great partner in everything that we did. And I was really lucky to have her, as were we all. Thank you.
Firstly, thank you, each of you, for coming today. We all know how special Carley was. She was such a blessing to each and every one of us here, even if indirectly so. Grieving her loss is a difficult and very saddening process, but she's probably watching us right now and wishing that we weren't all such a sad, sniffly mess of Debbie Downers. I'd like to try and celebrate some of the moments of her beautiful, adventurous, and fun-filled life that she worked hard to cram into an all-too-short 27 years. I'm happy to say that my siblings and I have always been very close with one another. So, without a doubt, Carley was one of my closest friends. I cherish our childhood together so very much. In a grossly oversimplified nutshell, Meredith was the oldest and the goody two-shoes, trying to keep us in line. Carley and I were always getting up to no good and blaming it on the youngest, Grant. With the four of us, just being together made everything fun. We invented a secret code to talk nonsense with each other. We made countless totally absurd home videos. We romped endlessly in the woods behind the house, all the while laughing hysterically at our own inside jokes. The silliness and laughter never faded as we got older. Carley had a knack for playing the starring role in our adventures and was an essential part of our sibling group dynamic. She leaves behind a void that can simply never be filled. I will miss Carley for her independence. She always valued this so highly. She was extremely reluctant to ask for help or to be a burden on others, through even some of the darkest days of her treatment. She was just so used to handling her own issues and solving her own problems without question. She never wanted to be the victim, the one who needed saving. Yet, there is something instinctive that makes a big brother want to protect their little sister. Carley neither needed nor wanted any such thing from me. This quality, oddly enough, made her the best little sister to go out to the bar with. This was probably best exemplified when Carley, some friends, and I were out in Denver one night, and she had wandered away to another part of the bar. Apparently, one rude guy talking with her had really crossed a line, and we watched as she dragged him by his collar out the front door and onto the street, where she proceeded to dump her box of leftover pasta on top of his head. I will miss Carley for her incredible memory. Her ability to remember every quote from every book, movie, and TV show was pretty much superhuman. She would often quote the most obscure line, muttered by a background character in a random episode of some show, and wonder why no one got her references. With this memory of hers, she was the keeper of our family stories. She could recall a truly massive number of them, all in vivid, colorful detail, providing great entertainment. Although, between you and me, I think she made up a few of the ever-evolving details. Nonetheless, as the family storyteller, I loved introducing her to my good friends and coworkers, so she could rattle off some of the best ones to describe what it was like to grow up with me. She never seemed to tell them my favorite stories about us, like the time when, as kids, we were climbing a crumbly cliff 40 feet up to get to an isolated lookout above the river, and she slipped and began to fall, but I was right there to catch her. She never seemed to mention the time when, as young adults, we were hiking Angel's Landing in Zion, scrambling along a precariously thin path cut into a cliff wall 2,000 feet up above the valley floor. In one startling instant, she reached for and missed a handhold, lost her balance, and was tipping backwards over the edge. But I was right there to catch her. No, she didn't like these stories where she had to be saved or appeared weak. She much preferred to tell my friends and coworkers about the time when I hit her in the head with a metal baseball bat, and then tried to convince her it was her fault for moving her head to where the bat was going. I will miss Carley for her tenacity. No matter what it was, watching all the Harry Potter movies back to back to back, scuba diving in Belize, camping in Alaska, hiking in Austria, launching the podcast, any goal that she had, she did whatever it took to make it a reality. She was not one to back down from anything, really. Sometimes it was the dumbest, most inconsequential little argument, but she would not back down. And at 16, when she first learned she had cancer and it had already spread, she did not back down. She was stronger and more fearless in her battle than anyone I have ever witnessed go through something similar. The worse the news got from the doctors, it was always matched with ever stronger resolve. Carley never once appeared weak to me, no matter how much her earthly body began to fail her. As her big brother, it was so difficult to watch. I was right there, but I could not catch her from falling. There are truly countless blessings that Carley gave to us all, and to me, but I selfishly want more. I wish she and I had more time. I wish I could hear her laugh again. I wish we could climb more mountains together. I wish we could grow old and she could keep my failing memory from forgetting all of our childhood stories. But all I can do is follow her lead and never give in to despair. I am eternally grateful to call Carley my sister. She had such a passion for life. There was a fire that burned in her soul. The flame is gone, but the smoke still billows.
I'm Meredith, Carley's sister. Carley and I shared a love of books. We would love it even more when we saw our relationship reflected in a good story. Little Women was one of Carley's favorite books. She loved to read it in winter, next to a cozy fire with Christmas decorations all around. Carley was a Joe. For anyone who doesn't know, Joe is the main character in Little Women, the spunky one. The one whose words get her into trouble. The one who has the goal of writing a book and gets it done despite trying circumstances. The one who plays with boys outside in the snow while her sisters knit inside. The one who can't stand her irritating great aunt and says so. She is such a compelling character that the sequels to Little Women follow her story, and generations of fangirls grew up wishing to be Jo. Well, Carley didn't have to wish it. As proud as she was of her likeness, she also knew the trials that come with being spunky, fierce, outspoken, and goal-driven. Inspired by Carley's love of Little Women, I read it as an adult for the first time 2 years ago in the heat of the summer. I enjoyed the sisters' story unfolding as the bugs sang and the heat enveloped me. But me, I am not a Jo. I am a Beth. Imaginative, painfully shy, piano playing, homebody Beth. Beth stays at home doing all the little daily tasks that make the home into a haven. She is so full of tender love that she even plays mother to her dolls until she is far too old for it. Beth and Jo are the closest to each other out of the four sisters. As nearly everyone knows, and I truly don't believe the story loses any punch by revealing this, Beth catches a disease while nursing a sick family. Her health steadily declines over the next few years, and eventually she is too weak to play her beloved piano. Jo sees her decline and knows the truth. Beth will soon die. And die she does, with Jo at her side. But I ask you, where's the life? Where's the humor? Where's the spark if Jo dies? What kind of book would Little Women be without Jo? Jo isn't supposed to die. There's no story without Jo, Joe is the magnet that holds their little world together. What life can Beth live without Joe? I ask you because Beth is out of answers without her Joe. Beth isn't supposed to be in the spotlight, but now I am. How many times did I wish it had ended properly with me dying and you left behind and healthy to carry the story? Now Beth has to pick up Joe's pen and write on. And I will, Carley, I will. We've been Beth and Joe, but we've also been Frodo and Samwise. You were Frodo carrying your burden, and I was Samwise, never letting you journey alone. And now here at the end of all things, you go where I cannot. But I believe you can hear me, and I have something to say to you, Mr. Frodo. You didn't want to die. Your work, your running, your family, your friends, your podcast, these were what you mourned in wave after wave of grief after that young doctor told you there was a new mass on your spine. Well, you showed that cancer. Your last year was full. New highs at work, running 2 5Ks, time in Red River with your family, booking your dream guests weekly for your podcast with Monica, scuba diving with Jenny, just being with Kelsey sitting nearby. I know it wasn't as full of those things as you wanted it to be, but you gave everything to make those moments happen. And it was enough, Carley. You were so hard on yourself. But let me tell you something. You had a wonderful life. You gave your time and energy to your friends when chemo left you feeling horrible. You gave your strength when your family was so scared they couldn't speak. You gave yourself precious moments of triumph by running a 5K a day after learning you had relapsed. You gave. Isn't that what it's about? Dumbledore said, "You are the true master of death, because the true master does not seek to run away from death. He accepts that he must die and understands that there are far, far worse things in the living world than dying." You were always grateful that you had never experienced those far worse things. You were always loved. You were never abandoned. You were never alone in the darkness. And that understanding gave you the strength to die well. In your final days, when the coming death whistle grew louder and louder, you never ran away. You continued to give. You thanked the nurses taking care of you. You smiled at doctors when you knew they were out of options. You sat quietly with your mother and with me, asking that we just be here. And when death came for you, you met him like the third brother in the Deathly Hallows, and as equals, they departed this life. It didn't look like it hurt. You made it look like Sirius said, but it was quicker and easier than falling asleep. You lived up until your last moment. In your last moment of consciousness, you forced your eyes open to drink in your siblings' faces one last time. You gave us that gift with your last scrap of strength. You completed your life with nothing missing, your cup full to the brim. And what do? We who are left. Do not pity the dead, Harry, said Dumbledore. And I say instead, look, how she wanted to live.
How on earth did I give birth to these 4 amazing children? I have no idea. I am so proud. We're going to get through this, and we're going to be stronger, and she's going to be with us always. I just want to say what a joy it has been to witness the love of all of you here and all of you streaming. Thank you so much for being here and remembering and loving Carley and us. We're just blown away by the distance traveled to be here, and we just cannot thank you enough. We have spent beautiful moments sharing all that Carley brought to us in her 27 glorious years. But what hasn't been spoken of is what each of you have meant to the shaping of her life from the very beginning. Your love, your friendship, helped to give her the undergirding and strength to stay positive and focus on all that is good and worth fighting for. When cancer entered her life in 2010, throngs of you rallied to pray, to cook, to run errands, to take care of Grant, to take care of all of the needs so that we could focus on Carley and healing. You helped bring laughter and many, many wonderful memories that we cherish always. Together we experienced miracles upon miracles, alongside of witnessing sadness at the losses of friend after friend to this awful disease. Carley was given 11 amazing years beyond what was expected, and she used every moment to build lasting friendships and experiences. When we leave this gathering, may we all take a little of Carley with us for always. Her zeal for life, adventure, her craving for knowledge, a good argument, her infectious laughter, her love of food, cooking, nature, animals, beauty. She always reminded me when stressing over the little things, Mom, don't sweat the little stuff. Life is too short. Through all that Carley endured, especially these last few months, she never wavered from her own words, even until her very last breath. I've never been more certain that this world, these people, and this life is worth fighting for. And now, for many of you who are concerned about her dog Juno, I have wonderful, wonderful news. Her amazing friends who have been with Juno since sophomores in college, are taking care of her, but one very, very special friend, Becca, who has loved Juno long before Carley got sick, is taking on the daunting role of stepmother. She will be forever Carley's, but Becca, you are already an amazing mother to Juno, and we are so honored. And she says that Juno is communal, and if you're ever in Denver and want to visit Juno, you are welcome. So I'm going to end with reading you a piece that Carley wrote in early May this year to honor a dear friend that was mentioned previously, a classmate, Wyatt Donahue, who also sadly passed away unexpectedly. She was finishing up her chemo, not feeling great, and it was really sad. I was with her when we got the news. I was glad I was with her. And she went immediately out and bought a plant to honor and to remember Wyatt. And now I have that plant. These are her exact words that she spoke at Wyatt's service. I changed the end into the third person because she and Wyatt were very similar, and I think it just makes sense. After I'm done, we're going to watch a slideshow by the wonderfully talented and artistic Kelsey Huffer, our dear friend. And then we're going to hear the beautiful music of Monica Moser and a little hint of Carley. And then her freshman roommate recorded a song for Carley when she was in the hospital, and you're going to hear that too. I want everyone, if you feel inclined, to take one of those beautiful flowers and bless someone. Take it to someone's grave, take it to someone you love, take it to someone who's sick, but take it and bless someone, please. And we have these bookmarks if you haven't seen them, and Carolyn, maybe we can get some people at the doors to pass them out. All right. I've spent more time than most pondering what we are given in life and also in death. I used to feel it was simple and that life was precious and death was agony, a tale as old as time. Through my multiple bouts with cancer, I have learned that the difference between life and death is fragile and equally beautiful and terrifying. One cannot exist without the other. Life gives us the treasured moments, achievements, family, joy, and courage. But death also gives. It gives us the pain that strengthens, the fear that spawns courage, and the grief that has a way of weaving our souls closer together. It gives levity to the moments of life that we cherish most. What is the summit without the climb? What is the adventure without the fear? The victory without the battle? No triumph exists without failure. Life and death give and take, but to know and respect them equally is to conquer them. In life, the people we love have a way of shaping us in more powerful and permanent ways than ever the river can carve into the rock. But in their death, grief has equal power to shape us and spark something beautiful out of even the darkest moments. That spark in the darkness is what makes life worth living. Carley will always represent that spark to all of us. She has that spark for so many, and now with an equal and opposite force that she blessed us in life, in her death, we are now all gifted with the challenge to live more like Carley. Never forget that where there is death, there is also life, and where there is darkness, there is always a spark. We are gifted with the honor of carrying that spark every day for the rest of our lives, and in that way, death and pain are not vanquished, but we live in harmony with it, and will carry Carley with us forever. Thank you.
From now, we'll all be gone. All our friends will move away, and they're going to better places. But our friends will be gone away. Nothing is as it has been, and I miss your face like hell. And I guess it's just as well, but I miss your face like hell. Been talking about the way things change, and my family lives in a different state. And if you don't know what to make of this, then we will not relate. So if you don't know what to make of this, then we will not relate.
reach you. Rivers and roads, oh, rivers and roads, oh, rivers till I reach you. Rivers and roads, 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 rivers till I reach you.
I was living in a devil town. Didn't know it was a devil town. Oh Lord, it really brings me down about the devil town. And all my friends were vampires. Didn't know they were vampires. Turns out I was a vampire myself in the devil town. I was living in a devil town. Didn't know it was a devil town. Oh Lord, it really brings me down about the devil town. And all my friends were vampires. I didn't know they were vampires. Turns out I was a vampire myself in the devil town. I was living in a devil town. Didn't know it was a devil town. Oh Lord, it really brings me down about the devil town. About the devil town. About the devil town.
That one felt good. I think that felt the best so far.
just right and straight into my arms.
I twirl it and then I leave it. Oh, okay. Just stand. I'm not used to being laid. Alright, now lift your leg up. Woo! Okay.
Here we are with a Harry Potter connection with
2007 at exactly 12:09.
With Hermione Granger and Professor Patil.
Hello. Please do tell about the Harry Potter fun
One more
fest
glass.
that you're having
One more
tonight.
glass. Well, you start. Tonight we started about 8:27, and we started watching the Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. And then right now we're in the middle of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Let's see it, tortellini. Bow tie, bow tie.
Ha. I just want to make a note to the camera. In Turk. If my family sees this, and I'm gone after this, I love you all. Camera battery's already failing. It's edible. High in protein and vitamin C. If you eat it, you're sure to have stamina for the next 3 hours. Actually, it does like a bit poisonous. Didn't actually eat it, cameraman. Come here, come here. Oh, I caught it. We can kill it and eat it for dinner. Good lad. Since we've already made fire and had dinner, I will see you next time on Women vs. Wild.
Happy birthday to you.
Yay! I'm so sorry. Here we are at the first annual Rutledge Bake Off. Our first contestant is Carley Rutledge. Hello, Carley. How are you doing?
Hello,
Prue.
I will be baking a savoury cheddar jalapeno bread.
Do you have a drawing?
No. Alright, y'all, we're going to get going. Got a party to go to.
Everything is cool. Everything's okay. Well, just before last Christmas, my baby went away across the sea to an island. All the bridges brightly burned, so far away from Ireland, in the valley of the unconcerned. I was walking down the road, man, just looking at my shoes, when God sent me an angel to chase away my blues. Saw 100,000 blackbirds just flying through the sky. They seemed to form a teardrop from a black-haired angel's eye. The tear fell all around me and washed away my sins. Now everything is cool, everything's okay. Everything is cool, everything's okay. But just before last Christmas, my baby went away. And I find it real surprising for myself to hear me say that everything is cool, everything's okay. Everything is cool. Everything's okay. Everything is cool. Everything's okay. Love you, buddy. Tired of seeing hope as a curse. Rehearsing the details in my mind just to watch them crash and burn. 'Cause I've never seen my face before. Only reflections of my perception, so I keep it so casual. Yeah, I'm always the cool kid, keeping it all in my head. Oh, yeah, I'm always a safe bet, comfort over regret. But I don't wanna hide in my own wings. If I could bet on myself for more than I need, I don't wanna hide in my own wings. They can only take me to who I'm made to be, who I'm made to be. Oh, oh, who I'm made to be. Oh, oh. Tired of seeing dreams as fears. Only believing that make-believe is just always gonna keep me right here. Yeah, I'm always the cool kid, keeping it all in my head. Yeah, I'm always a safe bet, comfort over regret. But I don't wanna hide in my own wings. If I could bet on myself for more than I need, I don't wanna hide in my own wings. They can only take me to who I'm made to be, who I'm made to be. Oh, oh, who I'm made to be. Oh, oh, there's so much more for me. Oh, oh, there's so much more for me. Oh, oh. Cause love follows you wherever you go. Believe it so. And really, it's gonna find you one of these days. 'Cause someone like you is in God's embrace, singing oh, 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 oh. I don't wanna hide in my wings, afraid I'll be weighed down by heavier things. I don't wanna hide in my wings. They can only take me to who I'm made to be, who I'm made to be. Oh, oh, who I'm made to be. Oh, oh.
Thank you, Kelsey. That was beautiful. And I thank all of y'all. I'm just stunned at the support, blessing that you all are. Thank you so much for being here. Stay as long as you want. Gather, hug, cry. Do as you please. We greatly appreciate y'all being here. Thank you so much. God bless.